said. I represent Walking Internal Medicine Associates of Wisconsin, so I work with Dr. Pandy and Dr. Coyle. I'm one of the nurse practitioners working with the company. So a little bit about my background. I've been a nurse for 20 years, recently new nurse practitioner within the past year. Also have teaching education, so I teach in academia as well. Some of the services that we're going to be able to provide for you are going to be pre-op clearances. So if you were to need a procedure, I would work you up to make sure that you're optimized so that you're safe to have surgery. Ear cleaning and ear flushing. Emergency refills when not able to reach your primary care provider. Sometimes it's hard when you need to get a refill for a medication and can't get in, so I can do that for you as well. Routine physical exams to monitor overall health. I can prescribe labs, imaging for you as well. Also chronic disease management, so diabetes, hypertension, heart failure, COPD, and more into that. Also health counseling on lifestyle changes and wellness strategies, along with coordination of care with specialists as needed. Medicare annual wellness visits and steroid injections if you need that as well. Developed a form, so when you would like to come to the clinic, Teresa will have these. You can fill them out with your name, your information, address, your medical history, along with a copy of your insurance card, front and back. We'll do that for you. They'll email it to us on Thursdays, and then we'll make the appointments. You'll have the appointment times the first and third Tuesday of each month from the times of 9 to 12. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a quick one. You mentioned insurance. Do we need to check with our insurance company to see if they accept you?
No, you should be able to send that. We accept most insurances. It should not be an issue at all. Yes?
Do you know if you're in network on Anthem's Medicare Advantage plan?
That's something I believe we are, but I can double check and follow up and get with Teresa, back to Teresa, and she can let you know. But I believe so, yes.
We can check it online.
That's okay. Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, we look forward to serving you guys and helping you guys with your future health and everything. So if you need anything, please let Teresa know, and she'll be the point of contact between us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Michelle. Does anyone have any questions for me since I'm here? You might as well utilize me. Yes, Mrs. Hazelmeyer.
You mentioned having the emergency form that's in our medicine cabinet pocket up to date. Where do we get those forms?
I can give you some copies, and I also left some copies at the front desk. If you do make changes to those forms, please make sure that I get an updated copy as well.
Teresa, where are the medical forms for seeing Michelle going to be housed? And the sign-up be located?
The sign-up will be located in the library by the fireplace room. I'll probably keep some of those forms right next to the sign-up so that you can just grab one and get that filled out quickly and return to me. And then I'll get those faxed over to Michelle. Any other questions for me? Yes, Mr. Hoffman.
I think it would be helpful if we had the services of a nurse practitioner in writing,
Okay.
because it was a pretty long list.
Okay, I can get a copy from her. I think she has that. Good. Anything else? I'm not here tomorrow, so here I am. Yes, Ms. Meyer.
I would say it's not a drop-in clinic that if you don't have an appointment set on Thursday when you get all the appointments, that Michelle will not be coming.
Right, if there's nobody signed up to see the nurse practitioner for that Monday, they will not come in. Tuesday, I'm sorry. Yeah, they will not come in if nobody signed up. Long as there's someone signed up and needs to be seen, someone will be there. Thank you. Brooke is up next.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Everyone hear me okay? Good afternoon. How's that? Better? I wanted to share a couple of healthcare updates today, including a recap of our annual survey and to share where we're at with our plan of correction. As you recall, last month at State of the Castle, I shared that we had our annual survey in our health center, February 16th, or the week of February 16th. So our team has been quite occupied working through our corrective action plan in all things addressing our 13 deficiencies as a result of the survey. I will share the Wisconsin state average last year for annual surveys was 11, so we are right above that average mark. With that being said, we did submit a formal plan of correction to state last week. It is currently under review, and we are waiting for correspondence back from them to give us a formal approval so that we know that we can continue with the plan of correction as we've been doing thus far. Once we receive that approval, our plan of correction will be posted in the health center. Just like all of our other survey results, we have a binder. We call it our survey results binder that's accessible. So that is, anyone can access it, whether that's through CMS Care Compare or reading our actual plan of correction. I would recommend that so that you can see what we're doing to address each of the deficiencies. Know that over the past month, we've had several educational sessions with our whole team, including our interdisciplinary team and all direct care staff that work within the health center. The great thing about our team is they're so receptive, and they always want to learn and they want to improve. So those sessions went very, very well. And we cover each and every deficiency, what we would have done differently, what our policies and procedures are, why regulations are so important, and just general refreshers so that we ensure our direct care staff are confident within their scope of work. So those have gone over very, very well. As far as next steps, now the state will return for a check-in visit within the next 60 days or so. The reason for that check-in visit is to review our skin and wound management program based on one of the deficiencies that we did receive. And the sole purpose is to verify that our plan of correction that we said we were doing, that we are actively doing it. So typically we expect a half day for the state to revisit. And again, that'll be any time between now and the next couple of months. Does anyone have any questions on survey or action plan? And if you can't think of any today, know that I'm a resource for any future questions.
Yes. What are the deficiencies?
So of the 13, I can give you a few examples. One of which we needed a medication administration assessment for a resident that has their own inhaler. So we need a technical assessment to indicate that the resident can ingest their own inhaler and manage that on their own. Because we didn't have it, it was a deficient practice. Another example was related to food sanitation. So they observed in our satellite kitchen in the health center, we had a tethered thermometer. We have since then replaced that. And they also observed glove usage that they think could have been more sanitary while they were prepping for a meal. Shall I keep going? I can share a couple more examples. I don't have the full list with me today. The one related to skin, so the one that we're getting a revisit for, that was due to upon admission, we do a head to toe skin assessment, the nurses do. They need to make sure that they are acknowledging any abnormality in skin, whether that's a skin tear, whether it's a wound, and without that full head to toe assessment, the survey team can't comprehend if a resident admitted with something and maybe a couple days later in an assessment, then we find a skin tear. If it wasn't noticed upon admission, they're gonna assume it was acquired once they admitted into our community. So that's our biggest one. That's the reason for the revisit. And like I said, we're looking at our skin and wound management program and really diving deep. We've got nurse consultants that we work with on a daily basis to ensure that our risk management programs are up to par. Okay, great question. Anything else for that? On a different note, I did want to extend a thank you to any East Castle Place residents that attended our Bradford Terrace open house earlier this month. This was an opportunity to see all of our higher levels of care. We had a few floor plans that we were open to sharing in assisted living, memory care, and skilled nursing. But our team was really excited. We get to spotlight the care services that we offer every day. But for the residents' benefit, you were able to ask any questions you had, anything that you're curious about, see our common areas, meet our therapy team. So hopefully in the near future we could do something similar, but I really thank anyone that did take the time to join us for that. Last but not least, I know later on this meeting, Evan is gonna cover some information about our community wellness series. So I just wanted to put in a plug. A big initiative for us this year is to promote wellness in all 8 dimensions of wellness. So stay tuned for more updates from him, but know that our goal is just to have high resident engagement, and we want you interested in the wellness series that we're offering. So please stay tuned for more updates from him. Yes.
The survey and the state's coming in, it does not go to memory care, is that correct?
No, this survey was only for the skilled nursing, so Bradford Terrace 4 and 5. We have a separate survey for CVRF.
Well, which never is publicized.
No, all survey findings are always accessible to the public. Any
And
other
that
questions?
survey, the survey for CBRF and memory care was last year, and there were 2 deficiencies noted for small documentation items.
There was a survey done that they handed out to families of people in memory care, I don't know, 3 years or 4 years ago. And oddly enough, it was a survey that went back to people here, which was not much good for privacy. However, one could send it in. We never got results of that survey, nothing.
So the survey, or the question was about the WIC seal survey that gets mailed to families, and that is for leading age. Specifically, one of our non-for-profit accreditation associations that we work with to get WIC seal certified. And with that survey, they collect that data, and that's on a quarterly basis that they monitor our quality measures for floors 1, 2, and 3, so assisted living and memory support. And then they also ask for feedback from either residents or family members, very similar to the resident satisfaction surveys that you all have participated in. And so that is not technically an East Castle survey, but that information, we did get copies of that, but we did not get, I'd say, a formal report, but it is online. And if you're ever curious, I can go, well, please stop by me and I'd be happy to share that link for WIC seal. And they have many area, Milwaukee, or even state of Wisconsin, because it's a Wisconsin initiative, programs or results for assisted livings and memory support neighborhoods.
Any other questions for me?
Where is that binder that has the survey information?
So right after you get off the elevator on the 4th floor, against the wall, there's a binder in a beautiful slot ready for viewing. And it's there. All of our survey activity within the past 3 years is in that binder. Alrighty. I think I'm going to toss things over to Mike. Thank you.
Thank you, Brooke. I only have 1 or 2 items, so sit back. It'll only take 45 minutes or so. Just relax. Really just a couple of things. First of all, I know Employee Appreciation Fund is a long time off yet. It really kicks off in September in a big way, but it's kind of a year-round effort in terms of trying to keep people aware of it. One of the things we do with that is hopefully a benefit to some of you. There are 4 of you right now that are already on monthly contracts so that your contribution doesn't come away as a one-time hit at the end of the year. And you're making contributions in 1/10 increments from January through October. If you want to do that, you need to sign a contract to that effect. And you don't have to do monthly. You could do 2 payments, one in May and 1 in July, or whatever you want. But if you're interested in splitting up contributions for later this year, you need to sign a contract. Come and see me and we can take care of that. There are, again, many of your neighbors that have already taken advantage of that. Secondly, though, some of your neighbors also have taken advantage of the fact that they have a donor-advised fund in their name, or they have an IRA. For those of you that do so, be aware of the fact that, you always think of these things at the end of the year, but you really can do them anytime during the year because those things are monitored on a calendar year basis. Whether you give in March or you give in October or November, it doesn't matter. It counts towards your required minimum distribution or, the amount you have to give through your DAF. I'm pleased to say if any of you have an IRA or a DAF, a donor advised fund through Fidelity Charitable required us to sign up for electronic funds transfers. We're not allowed to solicit checks from IRAs or DAFs. It has to be done electronically. We did so successfully, so if you have a donor advised fund or an IRA through Fidelity Charitable, you can now donate to East Castle Place through an electronic funds transfer. And if you're interested in learning how to do that, come and see me and I can walk you through it. Last but not least, the last that I have for you today is that East Castle Place is going to have an item adorning the walls of East Castle Place sometime within the next week or the next month or the next 5 weeks. It depends, when Eric's really busy staff can get around to it. We, at the request of our board of directors, commissioned a giving tree. The giving tree recognizes people that have donated to East Castle Place. The board of directors chose to go back to the year 2000 and recognize people that have given cumulatively since 2000. So if you gave $500 a year for 10 years, you'd be recognized as a $5,000 donor. The increments that will be recognized on the giving tree are $10,000, $25,000, $50,000, $100,000, and $250,000. And I know, many of you wonder, oh my gosh, I never gave anywhere near that amount. But if you gave annually, to the Employee Appreciation Fund or something like that, it adds up pretty quick, and you might have a leaf on the tree. We will be updating it on an annual basis. If you had a $10,000 leaf and you went over the $25,000 mark this year, we'll get rid of the $10,000 leaf and give you a new leaf. They're color designated, so look for that within the next week or 4 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever, whenever Eric and his guys can get around to it. Right now, it's targeted to go in the lobby of Bradford Terrace, behind the piano where that lovely picture is right now, but that's subject to discretion. When we get it all laid out and we look at it, you might think, well, that's just not where it really should go. But that's where it's planned right now, so look for it. When you see this thing showing up on a wall, that's what it's all about. Can I answer any questions for anybody? Yes?
Is there a tax advantage to giving from my IRA?
The tax advantage to giving from your IRA has to do with the fact that the IRA has a required minimum distribution. You must draw down on the IRA on an annual basis. If you do so, that is taxed by IRS and state of Wisconsin guidelines. If you give that distribution direct to a charity, like East Castle Place or any other charity of your choice, it's tax exempt. In addition to that, if you normally, let's say you normally give $1,000 to East Castle Place, and you do that through your checking account, now you're going to do it through your IRA. That portion of your RMD, your required minimum distribution, is tax exempt, and you got $1,000 more in your checking account because you didn't have to write a check to us from your checking account. It came from your IRA, and you save taxes on that. Did that explain it? Okay. Anybody else? All right, thank you very much. Next up is Eric.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, afternoon everyone. I'll jump right into the questions. I have a few updates. First question was submitted was, can we get rid of the vacuums in the Gilman dining room closet? When I have guests hanging up coats, it's unwelcoming to have the vacuum cleaner stored there. I certainly can work with Majarka on that's more so the vacuums they're using, but I can work with them on a different storage location. That's a reasonable request. Next question is, please clarify there is a rumor going around that several extra streaming services are available through East Castle Place's Spectrum account. Joe from the IT department says this is not the case. Joe is in fact correct. Under the program that we have, there are a few out there if you have a personal account with Spectrum, but nothing that we have available. So Joe is correct in the assessment of that. Next question, why are the chairs and other pieces of furniture being moved to other areas? On the lookout, there were matching chairs, now there are missing chairs. Who makes decisions on moving things around? Typically, facilities in coordination with the executive director are going to look at what furniture is placed around the facility and make determinations. Specific to this one, the chairs in question that got moved belonged to the health center. They got moved to the wrong side of the building. And it might have been some years ago. Things kind of change over time. But those chairs were designated they needed more chairs in the 4th floor of the dining room. They were short chairs. Sometimes you may have folks that have wheelchairs, less wheelchairs, more wheelchairs. So at that time they had less, and they needed more seating. That seating went with those other chairs and tables, so it was appropriate for it to go back there. Didn't know it was taken. One of the techs saw it and made sure they got back there, but we probably get on a little bit better job and make sure we communicated with who used those chairs to know that they had moved, which we can do a better job at in the future. But most times it's going to be facility staff that are working with the executive director on figuring out where that furniture goes. Yes?
On the other hand, on the 3rd floor, we've worked really hard to get 3 chairs, so we had enough for the group to sit on Thursday.
Sure.
And because of all that moving around, one of our chairs that we pulled up from the 3rd floor got moved out of there.
Sure.
Now we're left with 2 unmatched chairs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again.
So it's
you have
like
to-
balloon effect, I mean,
Oh, sure.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk to Lindsay probably in our next budget cycle and may look at, if we can all agree, a lot of the chairs in listing spaces, those are from the last renovation and I believe even the prior renovation. Teresa might remember them when she started here. So I think it's time maybe for some of those to be updated instead of just borrowing and moving things around. And again, you're talking 3 chairs matched, but in that particular area, I think there's about 8 or 10 chairs in use. So maybe we can do a better job of matching up some of the furniture, so. Another question, way up back? Yes.
The decor committee
Yes.
was commissioned by the resident council to review all those spaces
Mhm.
and make recommendations. Our review is complete today, and we are ready to present to the resident council, and it includes all that craziness about chairs.
Super. Great, thank you. If everyone heard that, there'll be a recap of all the furniture with the decor committee through the resident council, and it'll be reviewed at resident council. So that specific subjects being addressed. Got a couple. Start with Green. Yes.
My perpetual question about the floodlights on Lake Drive.
I have your work order for that, yes. It was actually one of my
Yeah.
items to talk about.
First there was just one, and now there are 2 of them that
Yeah.
are flashing.
I had Lee, our security person on third shift, go around and actually tag the poles, so I got pictures of each one. And I have asked we use Roman Electric. They're coming out next week to give me a proposal. There's actually 5 total that need some attention. Some of them are dimming where the driver's going bad, so we're gonna get those taken care of. We have to coordinate with Roman Electric so they can bring out the boom truck and wire up there to get those bulbs and the pictures. are
They're the
nice.
ones on the ground, the floodlights.
Oh, the one, yeah, they'll still take care of those too. One of those is broken. So, yep, they'll be taking care of those as well. Yes, Mr. Jones.
I'm probably one of the causes of the rumors about what you can get.
Oh, jeez. Should have had you call.
And I just want to clarify, we pay for our cell phones through Spectrum, and I have a separate Wi-Fi. So if you have either one of those, apparently then you get to get Paramount and HBO Max. HBO Max, so just for information.
Okay, so just to clarify what Mr. Salmon said, back to the question about the rumor and extra services for streaming through Spectrum. Barry has cell phone and internet, and if you have a majority of those items, there are some other services available, but that's that contract between yourself and Spectrum. Yes, Nancy. And a DVR was the added comment. Yes, Nancy.
I was just visiting a woman in the rehab area, and she had a request. She can see the flag on the west end of the parking lot.
Yes.
And it is rather tattered on the bottom.
I just noticed that the other
She's
day.
very concerned that it be caught before it destroys the flag and we can get a new one.
That's a wonderful point. The flag in the Bradford Terrace or West parking lot has some pullings at the end. I just noticed that the other day as I was looking outside. And I was surprised because we replace those flags. We get the more expensive ones that are all not nylon anymore. They're all still stitched. But yeah, right in the end there, I'm starting to see some pullings apart. So I just put the work order in for one of the guys today. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, the other comments I was going to have, just want to thank you for your patience with a couple things. Occasionally, based on the fact that we don't have a dumpster on site, we have to store too much extra stuff from apartments and different things down in the basement. Try to keep it in a storage room so you don't have to see it. Sometimes it boils out of there. We had a dumpster on site, got that all out of there. I apologize for the dumpster divers that come around and tend to park up the lot so you can't get out. We do shoo them away. They don't belong in there and they don't listen all that well. But it is kind of necessary evil to get things out of here. I do try to be very prompt about making sure it arrives, we fill, and it gets picked up. I schedule it all instead of waiting to call for a pickup. I prefer not to have that sitting there over a weekend because that's going to bring more of the dumpster divers. It's going to be in your way. It's going to be inconvenient. So we do try to shorten that timeline. But I have one more that'll go there probably here in the next month or so, and then we should be done for quite a while on that because we get everything well cleaned out. Another one I wanted to follow up on, just to circle back, was the hot water shutdown from the last State Castle that I talked about. Thanks for your patience, everyone at North Point Terrace. A couple fluky issues. So again, they went and they added an extra filtered line for us in the kitchen. They rebuilt the mixing valve that mixes the 140-degree water with the return water and distributes 125 to your apartments. They rebuilt that for us. That's just being proactive. We want to stay ahead of it. Those tend to fail every 5 or so years. We're getting close to 5, so we want to be ahead of the problem. And then we had a couple leaks and some piping up there and a check valve that wasn't holding as it should, so we were surging cold water into the hot water system that we wanted to replace. So with all that, we had the shutdown. It didn't come up as well as we wanted. We encountered another issue, of course. The tank sensor had failed. So instead of the tank sensor registering when the water was dropping below 140 degrees, it was dropping too low, down to like 110 or 115 degrees, and then the steam gates would open up and let hot water back into those storage tanks that gets distributed to your apartments. So that was kind of, you notice the day after, it took about 2 days to kind of work out, 3 days even work out that problem a little bit. That was the issue. We should be distributing 125, but when that tank temperature dropped from 140 down to 110, the sensor had been going bad. That's what caused some of the issues. So we were distributing about 105 instead of 125. So when it gets to your apartment, it's probably like 98, 100, which is more tepid and not quite the hot water you like in the morning for your shower. So thanks for your patience. Apologize it didn't go quite as smooth as we hoped, but we encountered something we didn't anticipate. But that has all been repaired. Any other questions for me? Yes, Sandra.
I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but I faced the portrait chair and the circle drive
Okay.
last night at, I don't know, 10:30. There were a number of, I'm guessing, teenage boys riding circles around and around and around and around our circle.
And yelling.
And making noise. And I finally called
Like a
her.
rally.
She said, Samada, what's going on in our driveway? And she said, nothing that I can see. I said, go to the door. She had no police around. But it was very strange and noisy and distracting. And I drove it over and
Yeah. So the comment was yesterday evening, there were some young boys taking some Segways for a ride. Those scooters that are all around town. And they were making sounds like a short track racetrack out of our turnaround up at the front there, which is not what they're supposed to do. So in hindsight, yeah, that's something we'd absolutely ask them to leave. If they don't leave, we call the police just like anything else. I wasn't familiar with that last night. I don't know what time it occurred, but if Amada was here, I'm assuming over second shift. So if I'm not, usually does a good job.
I mean, after 10:30, but probably before 11 when she leaves.
Okay. So it's probably a collaboration between her and security then.
Yeah.
And they didn't continue after that?
They left.
Okay.
And I don't know why they stopped, because the city was,
I appreciate you bringing my attention. I'll let security know to keep an eye out for them. That some of that stuff comes up more and more as we get into summer, unfortunately. So but thank you. Okay, next up is Evan. Good afternoon, everyone. I have a few quick updates, and I'll go quick because I know we're all anxious to see how many strikeouts the Miz has. But anyways, did anyone get a chance to pick up an April calendar? Wonderful. So I just wanted to walk through this because I know we have some new residents. So on the front, you'll see some of our bigger activities and outings that are going on throughout the community. So you'll see our outings as well as our pianist that's coming in. But I want to focus on the back. Is anyone aware of the back? Did we check out the back? Wonderful. There's some great stuff on the back. There's descriptions of the things on the front, and then there's 3 things that I really want to highlight on the back of the calendar. The first one is chair volleyball that we have added on Fridays at 2:30. So please, we have some communities that may be coming in. Get your practice in. Great group, it's great fun. Would love to see some new folks come in. I think we had over 20 people on Wednesday. And we had a smaller group on Fridays, but we want to amp that up. So please, even if you want to check it out, come in the stands. I know we've had a lot of people that have just watched and then got involved after. The next one is Tai Chi. Anyone in here been to our Tai Chi class? Wonderful. Well, I'm glad to hear that. There was something that I wanted to touch on. So we had a webinar earlier in the week. I don't know if anyone came to it about trips and falls. Okay. In that webinar, a young NASA professor said that Tai Chi decreases the chance of falls in seniors by 55%. So, did I say increases? Decreases, thank you. I'm testing you guys. So, if that's not proof enough to come to our Tai Chi, I don't know what to tell you guys, but awesome class. Our teacher has been doing it for 20 years, working with seniors. So, please check that out. And the last one I want to talk about quickly is our art classes with Harper Martin. How many people have been to those? Wonderful. Has anyone seen the paper mache they're doing right now? Awesome. So there's some really cool art activities that she does. You don't need to bring anything. You just show up. They're complimentary, and would love you guys to participate in those as well. Just some things that are reoccurring that not a lot of people remember that we had going. And then real quick, I want to give an update on our community wellness series. So in February, we had our dietitian, Anna Keys, stock. Wednesday, we had a boxing teacher come. And I didn't know this, but there's 6 types of punches. Did anyone know that? Any boxers in here? Pat will demonstrate those for us later if you and if you're in the sure, if you're in the elevator alone with Pat, just be careful. But really, some great things that we learned, and there was a demonstration. But the next one I want to talk about coming up is in April, the end of the month, the 4th. So let me get you guys the right date here. April 27th. And we're going to be talking about what goes on in Bradford Terrace from a community life aspect. I had the resident wellness committee say, we'd like to know what goes on over there. And I said, well, we do activities, we do outings, we do all the stuff we do in independent living and more. And a lot of people did not know that in the wellness committee. So we want to share that with you all so you know what's going on just around the corner. So any questions for me? Susan?
When you have an occasional correction, cancellation, change of any kind in the fitness center as far as, or as it spreads out, any of the activities that are on that big calendar as you get into the fitness center, could you please post a change, cancellation, whatever, postponement note on there? So
let me look into something that's aesthetically pleasing, because those posters cost quite a bit of money to produce, so I can't reproduce them every time, but I just don't want to stick a sticky note on there. So maybe we can put something on the wall that would say, more permanent sign holder that would say, hey, this is a change that happened. Maybe I can just put my emails in there as they come up.
A single one, like was used on the elevators, would be very easy for you to access.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep. Sandra?
I've got a question.
The wellness programs that are being held, the She-Wolf Boxer,
Yes.
for example, that is not sponsored by Resident Wellness Council. That is another entity, is that correct?
That is correct. That is sponsored by yours truly. Although there are some upcoming wellness series that will be sponsored by our wellness committee. So May in particular, when epidemiologist Dr. Michael Silver comes. And he's going to talk about COVID and what we did right, what we did wrong, what we can learn from. So some of them will be presented by them, or hosted by them, I should say. We also want your feedback, and the Wellness Committee wants your feedback. Again, we want this to be something that you all are engaged in, things that you want to learn. So there's a Dropbox in the library where you can put your ideas, or you can email me, or anyone on the management team. Or bring it to the Wellness Committee. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, go Brewers. With that, I'll pass it on to Majorca.
Good afternoon, everyone. So just a brief little hospitality update. The first thing I want to talk about is our juice machines. So LCS has signed a new contract with a different juice provider. So on Tuesday, there will be some servicemen here switching out all 7 juice machines that East Castle has. So please bear with us as we kind of make that switch. Also, there might be the possibility that Monday night or early Tuesday morning, you might not find the juice that you're looking for in the juice machine. All of the product is completely different, and it is a little bit pricey, so with 7 juice machines, we're trying to whittle down our inventory so we don't have wasted product. But they should be finished up with that by the end of the day on Tuesday. Some other exciting news is within the next 2 to 3 weeks, we will have our new espresso machine installed in the bistro. It is finally in stock. I'm just waiting for one more product to come in so we can have that. So Evan will send out some communication about a few days where we will be offering some drinks in the bistro in the morning. Next week, Sunday, is Easter. I know that there's been a lot of questions about what is on the menu. We will have the menu for you guys on Monday. Tim is just kind of finalizing the availability to get a couple things, so I will get that information posted in the bistro and on the app Monday afternoon. Calling the kitchen. So we've had a big influx lately of residents calling the actual phone in the kitchen to ask questions about reservations, what's going on with Easter, can I come to dinner at this time? And that's difficult for the kitchen staff to understand what is happening. So if you ever have any questions about anything dining room related, they should be directed towards Tanya or Morgan or the reservation line. Unfortunately, if we have a dishwasher pick up the phone and you say you want to come to dinner at 6 o'clock tonight, that information might not get translated correctly. And I am here during the day too. If you want to stop down by me or call me, I can help you with any of those. On my list is green containers. So we have been doing better with green containers than we have in the past, but we need everybody to kind of return them a little bit more quickly if possible. If you are having dinner delivered tonight in green containers, if you could possibly have them back to us in about 36 hours or so. We have purchased more green containers, but unfortunately, given the economy today, the price of them has doubled. So for one of the large containers that your dinner comes in, that now costs us $9.50 to purchase.
Wow.
So the sooner we can get them back, to get them washed, to get them back into circulation would be fantastic. The last thing I have is Lindsay mentioned, and we talked a little bit yesterday with Talk at Tanya about wine glasses. This is our current wine glass that nobody seems to really enjoy, and they tell me it's a parfait glass. We have some of these that Tanya used last night at dinner, and people seem to enjoy them. We also are looking into getting some stemless wine glasses. So my question for the community is, are we looking for more of a glass like this or an actual like red wine glass that has a bigger bowl to it?
Stemless?
Stemless and then is a little bit bigger. So we're looking for something a little bit more like that? Okay, perfect. We'll look for some things. And then it was also mentioned yesterday that we'd like a bigger rocks glass. I have already ordered those and they should be here on Monday. Yes, this is Hazel Meyer.
Let's show a raise of hands, stemless or with a stem.
Okay, so let's raise our hands if we would like stemless.
No stem.
No stem, yep. And who would like a stem? So about half and half.
Who drinks beer?
So yes, this is both.
Are you talking a red wine glass and a white wine?
Correct. Because we've heard a lot of different things, so I just wanted to figure out what people are asking for. If they're looking for an actual red wine glass when they have red wine, or if they just want a different wine glass in general. Mr. Woodard.
Are you going to get the old-fashioned glasses?
That's what I ordered. So they'll be here early next week, just for you. Any other questions for myself or the yes, Mrs. Peer?
Is it possible to decrease the number of alerts for dinner? I've been getting an average of 4 for one meal.
Like emails?
Yes.
Confirmations. Let me take a look. I only can turn it on or off, so I will reach out to the company and see if there was a weird fluke or something.
And the other thing is it possible to not get all of these papers that have all of my orders for the month when I've gone over my limit? We're working so hard to decrease waste and issues here, and then when I go over, and I do, and I get these papers that are loaded with what I ate that month, which I can find on the app. Even I can do that.
Let me talk to accounting about that. Mrs. Beard mentioned she doesn't like getting all of the paper statements at the end of the month when she's gone over. Because if you go over your points, accounting prints all of your transactions for the entire month. So she's mentioning she'd rather just go paperless and look at that on the app. So I'll chat with Brad and see what we can do to eliminate some of that.
Thank you.
Yes, Mrs. Meyer.
One advantage about getting them is that if you're over, if there's a mistake that's been made, you can tell by looking at that sheet, because suddenly you've been charged on the 16th of the month for 4 meals. You know, it's just happened. And if you don't have that in front of you, there's no way. You just have to trust that it's all been done correctly. If you care, you have to look at all those things.
Well, Mrs. Meyer is saying that paper can kind of confirm some of the transactions. And then that's true, but what Mrs. Pierce is also saying that you can see that on the app. Like you can look at your transactions on the app from now until the beginning of time, or when we started the app.
How about going into accounting? Will they show it to you?
Yep, they can show it to you, or I can print it for you as well. So let me talk with Brad and Judy and see what we can come up with for that. Anything else for myself? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Nancy.
All right. Good meeting today. Good questions. So for my update, I'm just gonna add a little color to some of our comments earlier. I think the Lime scooters or the Segways that get cruised around, I do think we can inquire their support as well as make a complaint that we could be a designated no ride area. So I will look into that because I agree. It also bothers me when they're just littered on the side of our sidewalks too. My condo association where I lived did that. Now that's a no ride zone. So kids can't, or pedestrians can't ride on our sidewalks. So
Don't they have to pay for those things?
they do have to pay for them, yes.
Someone was going to track them or something.
Right, one would think that, but they're such nominally priced that people don't care how much.
Aren't they credit card?
They are credit card, yes.
But it's my understanding that wherever you leave them, they have a transponder thing, and they go pick them up wherever they're dropped off.
But I want to, if we have the same 6 kids who charge them on a charge card, eventually when you find out who they are, and I don't know.
Well, we wouldn't know who's riding, but we can look and nonetheless try and get a scooter ban where they can't ride in our parking lot area and so on. And then, just to add on to Barry's discussion on your subscriptions, your credit cards also have many free options that perhaps you're not capitalizing on. Because our spectrum, I would not say, we will not be inquiring on that as an organization, because all of a sudden they're going to be changing our channels again and so on. But inquire with your credit card, because you usually can get free Hulu or Netflix. That is a very underutilized value to many of credit cards. And your cell phones, AT&T, Verizon. And then the last I'll add before I hop into the Alzheimer's Association, the decor committee, perfect timing for the chairs and any other wishes, because we are moving our East Castle budget timeline up this year, not for obviously when we present to you all, that still will be on our 10-1 fiscal year, but us as an organization, we start our budgeting process, Brad and I do, with LCS helping us, starting at the end of April. So we are really starting early this year. So good timing to get the wish list together as we think about those things for the next fiscal year. Excellent. And then my first bullet point on there, the Alzheimer's Association campaign. So as we continue our campaign efforts for many different organizations, obviously Alzheimer's Association is still very near and dear to our organization as an entire. We will be kicking off our campaign in May, and all of June this year will be our 2-month focus for employee and resident events. So please take note of the calendars as well as the postings and the fun food events that will be going on in the various areas. And we will have a further presentation next month of exactly what that timeline looks like for all of the events, but just things for you to start thinking about as you are, if you are a consistent donator to the Alzheimer's Association, we recommend that you can recommend donating through our East Castle link so we can get that credit in association with the good donations that many of you are already providing. Otherwise, just participating in those fun events that will be campaigned for May and June this year. All right, who has the first question for me?
I forgot to ask Eric, when does the outside furniture come out?
A question for Eric. When does the outside furniture come out to the patio? Memorial Day?
That's usually too late.
A little before that.
I think it's usually turned out before Mother's Day, the week before. But depending on the weather, we might cut it open and pull some of it out so people can sit. But we might have set up the tents and everything else.
Yes, around Mother's Day is our goal. That is correct. We did talk about that last year. But if the weather plays nicely, which who knows in the Midwest here of what we can experience, 70 degrees and then a snowstorm. But we will put it out as soon as possible because again, we want to get the most of our beautiful patio. Who has the next question? Yes.
I don't have a question, but isn't there something tomorrow about Parkinson's selling?
There's a craft fair. Yep, there's a craft fair which is being thrown by or presented by our therapy team in Bradford Terrace, TMC, and they're raising money for Alzheimer's. Yes.
Where? No,
Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Parkinson's,
But
yes.
my
Thank you.
point is, last year I came down, I didn't have cash, and not everybody takes, well, whatever, I didn't have money. So when you come, bring money so that you can buy things.
Yes, so tomorrow in the Bradford Terrace entryway, right? At Lindsay Hall, apologies. We are hosting a craft fair that is delivered by TMC, our therapy company, and those proceeds will go to the Parkinson's Association. And it is cash only, I believe. I don't know if they are quite equipped and ready for credit card sales, so stop at the bank today, walk down to Associated Bank ATM. It's not too bad of weather out, so. But all proceeds go to the Parkinson's Association tomorrow. All right, any other questions for me? No? Otherwise, we're just shy of 2 o'clock. We'll keep us on time here. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Go watch the Brewers. Looks like we're down 1 run, so plenty of game left. Otherwise, everyone have a great day.
1-1.
We'll see you next month.